Have you ever felt like you had more to contribute, but you held back because of your speech? That is, because of your experiences, your knowledge, your expertise, you know that you're able to offer great value in a conversation, in a project, or wherever. You have great value that you're capable of offering, but you've held back because you weren't sure that you would be able to articulate your thoughts smoothly, clearly, and confidently. My name is Michael Williams, Pro 90D, founder and speech coach, and today we're going to continue the series, Improve Your Speech, Improve Your Life. And we've been looking at several different aspects of your life that you can and almost definitely will improve when you improve your speech. And so today we're going to be looking at how, when you improve your speech, you actually improve your value contribution. That is, your willingness and your ability to contribute more to your company, to your business, to your colleagues, to your organization, to your community, to the world. When you improve your speech, yes, you are willing and able to contribute more, to add more value to the lives of those around you. So in a few minutes, we're going to look at some specific examples of this, people who actually recently gone through the program, worked with me one-on-one, and they'll tell you in their own words how they feel now and how they feel like they're able to contribute more value. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a couple of tools that you can use to help you contribute greater value. For example, you're in a meeting. You have something to say. I know that we talked about this before, but it's relevant here. You have something that you want to say, that you need to say, but because of your speech, you held back. But now, because you've improved your speech, I'm going to show you how you can start to contribute greater value in those meetings, in those conversations, in presentations, right? Even in social situations, you'll be able to contribute more value because you won't be afraid to speak up. You won't be afraid to speak up. So let's take a look at a couple of tools that I developed over the past few years. And each of these letters stand for something, and we'll walk you through that. But these are mental tools that you can keep in mind, that you can remember, to help you add more value in any conversation, in any presentation, and even in interviews. Okay? Very, very simple, easy to remember, and easy to apply. And both of these are very, very similar, except for this first letter, as you can see. I'm just going to run through these. These are included in our course. So when you get the course, or when you do coaching, you also get the course. We go over these in detail. But when you're in a conversation, you're in a meeting, you're in a presentation, whatever it may be, and you want to add more value, one of the first things that you want to do is ask yourself, is what I'm saying going to add more value? Is what I'm saying valuable, value, or valuable to who? To the other, or to the group? It's a very, very simple question, but what it does is it helps you stay focused or get focused. It helps you stay on track. What you're doing is you're tuning everything to the listener. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about the people with whom you are speaking. And so you're tuning everything to that listener or those listeners. And so you're asking yourself in the back of your mind, is what I'm about to say going to add value to this conversation? Is what I'm about to say valuable? Is it going to be seen? Is it going to be perceived as valuable? And as long as you ask that question and you keep it in the back of your mind, you're going to be far more likely to add more value than if you don't, right? If you don't really care and you're just throwing in your 2 cents, then it might be valuable or it might not be valuable. But if you're like, I want to make sure that this is valuable, I want to make sure that this is valuable, then you're more likely to add value. Very, very simple, but very powerful to ask that question. Remind yourself, is this adding value? Is this adding value? If it's not, then maybe it's something that I can hold off and say later. Maybe it's something that I don't need to say at all, right? So this will help you make greater value contribution. Now, the R here stands for relevant, right? Is this relevant? So the same kind of question, but this applies more to just conversations. Is what I'm saying relevant to that other person, relevant to this conversation? Do they care? So have you ever talked to someone and they talk about something completely off topic, right? It's not relevant to that conversation, or it's not relevant to you. You don't really care about it, but they're off talking about something that's just totally off topic. It's irrelevant. Now, for sure, you can use this in business conversations and in meetings. Is what I'm saying relevant to this conversation right now? In interviews, when someone asks you a question, one of the things that happens in many interviews is that people don't actually answer the question that was asked of them. So you want to ask yourself, is this valuable? Am I providing valuable information and feedback? And is this relevant? Am I answering the question they ask me? Or am I talking about a topic that they care about? Am I talking about the topic that we're discussing right now? So just asking yourself those questions can be extremely helpful. I, impact, right? And that's going to be the same in both of these along with the C, okay? So you want to ask yourself, am I having an impact on this person? And what that means is, am I engaging them? Are they engaged in this conversation? And what we teach you in Pro 90D is how to speak in a way where people listen, and people want to listen, and people want to not only listen to you, they want to engage you because you're a good listener. You're paying attention, you're present, you're making eye contact, you're nodding. So they're engaged with you. So they want to talk, they want to share, and they want to hear from you because they trust you more, right? So you want to ask yourself, am I impacting, am I having an impact on this listener? And that primarily comes from your speaking style, the way that you're speaking. And so one of the tools that we use to help you get to a place where when you speak, people listen is modeling. We have you find someone to model, or we give you a model, and you simply speak the way they would speak. You ask yourself, how would my model speak right now? How would my model feel right now? How would my model act? And when you do that, you instantly transform your speaking style from one where maybe you're mumbling, maybe you're speaking too fast, maybe you have a heavy accent, and it's just your speech is not clear, you're not enunciating clearly, right? And so it's hard for people to follow you. Or maybe you're speaking in a monotone manner, and so people kind of drift off. Or maybe you're just not using any facial expressions or body language or hand gestures, right? And so people are just, So what we teach you is how to do all these things. We call these proactive speaking skills, how to modulate your voice, body movements, right? Body language. So that when you speak, people are more likely to listen to you and want to hear you. So are you having an impact? So you ask yourself that question, when I'm speaking, am I engaging this person? Am I impacting this person? Okay. And then finally, let's do red. This is a big one here. Okay. Clarity. And it has two parts to it. So you want to ask yourself, if you want to make a greater value contribution whenever you speak, you want to ask yourself, is what I'm saying clear? Now, clear how? Clear. Does it have a clear structure? I like to call this structurally. And is it clear stylistically? So let's briefly explain what that means. When you're speaking, if someone can follow what you're saying, they can follow the logic, right? When you are precise, when you're concise, and you have kind of a structure, and they can follow the sequence or logic of what you're saying, then it's easier for them to understand you, right? It's easier for them to want to listen to you because what you're saying has been presented to them clearly with a clear structure that they can follow. Does that make sense, right? So they want to listen because it's, wow, that's really clear. Have you ever heard someone speak? Again, could be conversation, could be in a meeting, and they explain something. It could be extemporaneously, and they just bam, 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 and it's clear, and you're like, wow, I understood everything that that person said. So clarity, in terms of structure, structurally. The second part of clarity has to do with your style, which we also talk about in impact, right? Am I speaking clearly, stylistically? Meaning, am I speaking too low where they can't hear me? Am I speaking too loudly, right? Is my speech too loud where it's like, I can't listen? Am I speaking in a monotone manner where people are drifting off? Am I mumbling? Am I not enunciating? We call it articulating. I'm not articulating. Technically, it's enunciating. So, are they able to understand my swallowing my words? One of the main problems is people speaking too fast. Okay, I work with a lot of people from different parts of the world, and we don't try to minimize or lessen their accent. What we do try to do is make sure that even with their beautiful accents from all around the world, you can still be clear. You can still communicate clearly with an accent. I have an accent to some of you, and you have an accent to me. It doesn't matter as long as we're communicating clearly, we're enunciating, we're articulating, okay? So your job is to make sure that when you're presenting your thoughts and ideas, you're doing so in a manner where it's structurally clear, right? It has good logic to it. People are able to follow what you're saying. And when you're communicating with them, stylistically, your speech is clear. They can hear you. They can understand the words that you're saying. And you're speaking in a manner that keeps them engaged. So let's take a look at just a couple of examples of what some people have said about their newly found ability to contribute greater value. So Silas says, hey, I'm able to help teams improve with my experience and knowledge. He's great experience and knowledge. Now he's able to help teams of people improve through the experience that he has because he's able to articulate, he's able to speak smoothly, clearly, and confidently now. All right, I'm able to speak up more in meetings and command an audience when giving presentations more than before I began Pro 90D. Give presentations, wants to speak up, is able to speak up now and command the audience's attention so that when you speak, people are paying attention, they're listening. And then finally, I'm able to share my own ideas and contribute more to clients instead of hiding behind my speech. Remember, we talked about that in the very beginning. There are a lot of people, maybe some of you who are watching, you have great value. You have a lot of stuff that you can and that you want to and that you should contribute. There are those of you out there watching this who have ideas, you have businesses, you have content that people need, that people want, that could actually save someone's life or could change someone's life or could change the direction of their business, change the direction of their lives and the lives around them. And you have that value stored up inside of you. And so what we need to do now is we need to get that value out. So if you've been sitting and you've been like, man, I really would like to be able to do this. I'd like to be able to record videos. I'd like to go for this job. I'd like to apply for this. But my speech is kind of holding me back. I'm afraid because I won't be able to pass the interview. If I pass the interview, I won't be able to handle the speaking responsibilities. Or I just have a problem, because I have to switch words. I have to substitute. I have to do a lot of mental gymnastics. One of my clients just told me the other day that he is so glad that he's gone through this process because now he feels like he's been liberated and freed from his own mental prison. Like you've been imprisoned in your own mind. You have stuff that you want to say, but you don't. You can't say it. But when you go through Pro 90D, you're released, you're freed, you're liberated. Okay? As long as you do the work, right? So what I want to do now is just simply invite you to take some action. If you want to contribute, if you want to give greater value because it's stored inside of you, but you haven't been able to in the past, and you're looking for a solution, then now is the best time, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets, right? And now is the best time because right now we're also running a sale. So if you want to do the coaching, now is the best time. Will we ever run sales again? Of course we will, but we don't know how much and we don't know when. And the longer you wait, the more opportunities you miss, the more ingrained this pattern, the more ingrained, and the more you kind of walk into and live in your current identity, like this is who I am. So the longer you are the way you are, the longer you'll continue to be who you are. Does that make sense? So if you continue to see yourself behaving a certain way, you continue to think a certain way, you continue to perform a certain way, then you'll continue to believe that this is who I am, okay? So you want to get out of that as soon as possible. It's never really too late, but the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes, but you can still do it. You can still do it within the time frame that we share with you, okay? So within a few months, your life can be completely different. So I want to invite you to click the links in or around this video and work with me one-on-one. When you work with me one-on-one, or when you work with us, right, because we have another coach, you are able to accelerate the process, sometimes by as much as 10 times. Meaning, if you're working on your own, I've seen people out there and it takes them 2 or 3 years to get to the same place that when you work with me, you get to in 2 or 3 months. Okay, so when you work with me, you accelerate the process, you speed the process up, you get to where you want to go faster. Now, for some of you, coaching is not going to be the best choice. It's not going to be the best option for you. So you want to go ahead and get into our self-study. Join our self-study, and there's a community. But invest in yourself and see that ROI, see that return on investment. And it's not just a financial return, although it is, right? Most people do see a financial return on their investment. Whatever they spend, $2,000, $3,000, they see a return on that within a few short months, or 6 months, or sometimes a little longer, depending on jobs that they're applying for and so forth. But they get a financial return. But there's a lot of other returns that we've been talking about throughout this program. And some of them are internal, they're psychological, they're emotional, the way you feel about yourself. You get a social return. You're able to get out and talk to people and enjoy life more. You're able to make a greater value contribution, which is pinned up inside of you. Now you can release it. Okay, so I want to invite you to take action now. Even if you're not ready to do the coaching now, you can do it later, but you want to lock in the low prices that we have right now. Or if you're ready to do it now, then you can do that. And once you register, you'll have a link that'll take you to a registration page. It'll give you the pricing and all the other information about the coaching that you want. You can go ahead and register, and then you'll hear from us, usually within 24 to 48 hours. And we will look at your schedule, look at my schedule, and we'll start working together. But when you register, you immediately get access, or you get immediate access to the self-study. So you can start that immediately until we have our first session. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you. For those that this is the right move to make now, just remember, you're going to spend that money someplace. You're going to spend it someplace. If you have access to the money, right, because of your income, savings, credit card or something, you're going to spend that money over the next month or 2 or 3 months or 6 months or a year. And the only question is, what kind of return are you getting from what you spent that money on? Right? Now, if you invest that money into yourself, right, into yourself, into your speech, you're going to see a return. Remember, I said improve your life, improve all of these areas of your life. Your mindset, your thinking, your opportunities. We're going to talk about your emotions, right, how you feel. We're going to talk about all those things, but we've talked about your opportunities, your income, and all those things. You get a return when you invest, and this lasts you for the rest of your life. Right? So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this is helpful for you. Look forward to seeing you soon.